Claire, we heard Tesco's say that they were investing millions, putting it towards the suppliers. Supermarkets are facing very challenging times as well, very, very competitive. You know, why is there this mutual distrust between farmers and retailers?
Well, I was at the conference with Johnny today, the NFU Scotland conference, and actually Tesco was speaking, and obviously there's other retailers as part of this conversation. But we talk about mistrust. There was farmers in the room today that said, we warned you back in April that there was going to be a shortage of eggs on our shelves. We sent invitations out to the major retailers, but no one responded. That conversation wasn't had, and they could have responded at that point. We wouldn't have gotten the situation we are now where there were shortages on the shelves. So today, a lot of conversations around why aren't we engaging? Why isn't there that sort of transparency across the supply chain? And part of the big problem here is that the farmers, they hold all the risk, and the retailers, they set the goalposts. They set the stipulations around what farmers have to be producing. So for farmers, as you can imagine, they're battling with the weather, they're battling with disease pressures, but with changes of climate change, of course. And now, as Johnny was mentioning, we've got Brexit, the legacy of Brexit, with COVID. There's so many risks that are adding in. Are the margins really worth is there any reward for farmers out with this?
A lot of people watching this programme won't know anything about the farming industry, but it does affect everyone who goes shopping, doesn't it, the future of the farming industry?
Yeah, and if we're coming up to the anniversary of a year since the invasion of Ukraine, and we've seen what's happened with energy dependency, and I think it's so important that we maintain domestic production here in this country. And I think some of the figures that you're putting up there in terms of the reduction in some of our livestock herds as well. I mean, Scotland has a fantastic climate to be growing food, and we should be doing more of it in this country. And I think we don't want to be exporting our carbon footprint by importing goods in, but what will happen, the reality is, demand for food isn't going to drop, but if we start reducing the production here, we're going to be importing it, and that doesn't sit well with our net zero agenda. And just coming back to that, the role farming can play in actually delivering for the environment. If we invest in farming, if we give food its real value, we give farming that margin to be able to invest in better practices where they can deliver for the planet, for people, and so many of these things. But often that conversation around food value gets lost.